This episode came out on September 5th, 1992, directed by Kevin Altieri, story by Sean Catherine Derrick and Lauren Bright, script by Jules Dennis and Richard Mueller, animation sequences by Sunrise Animation, featuring Kevin Conroy as Batman and Bruce Wayne, Bob Hastings as Commissioner Gordon, Adrienne Barbeau as Catwoman and Selina Kyle, Herb Edelman as Stern, Kate Mulgrew as Red Claw, Mary McDonald Lewis as Maven, Neil Ross and Frank Welker as additional voices. Got some honourable mentions here. Sean Catherine Derrick and Lauren Bright have been the story editors on previously reviewed episodes, such as The Forgotten, POV, Be a Clown, The Underdwellers, and I've Got Batman in My Basement. All episodes that aren't loved, really, but we enjoyed. So, There we go. Writers Jules Dennis and Richard Mueller have also been mentioned before in this podcast as they wrote The Underdwellers and The Forgotten. Director Kevin Altieri was also the director on previously reviewed episodes such as On Leather Wings, POV, The Last Laugh, and Two Faces, Parts 1 and 2. And announcing here for the first time, everybody, Kevin Altieri, the director of those episodes and this episode, will be our special guest on this podcast very soon. Will couldn't make it, but I recorded one with Kevin. I had the chance to talk to him, and I'm so excited to share because he even shares storyboards from this episode with me, and it's just awesome. So that will be coming in a few weeks.
I was in Belgium.
You were in Belgium, yes. So
Yes.
It's a shame you missed it, but great interview, and I'm excited for you to hear it. Okay, honorable mentions for Adrienne Barbeau, who plays Catwoman. She's Maggie in Escape from New York. I haven't seen that movie except for once, a very long time ago. Do you have a good memory of that movie or no?
I watched it last time when my dog was a puppy, and that was 6 years ago.
Okay, so I was going to say, would you know who Maggie is, but you don't? That's fine.
Vaguely. Is she not one of the people he has to rescue?
I don't know. It was one of her, like, you go on IMDb and it lists, like, the top credits, and that was one of them for her.
Right.
She's also Wilma Northrop in Creepshow.
Movie or TV show?
Don't know. Couldn't answer that one.
Because there's a movie by George A. Romero and, what's his name? The famous horror writer. The most famous horror writer of all time. What's his name? What's the name of the most... From Maine.
Oh, Stephen King.
Yeah, Stephen King and George A. Romero made a Creepshow movie together in the 80s.
This is that movie that she's in.
With effects by Tom Savini, who I've been really into recently.
Oh, okay. So she plays Wilma Northrop, who's one of the top billing actors in that movie, because you've got, like, Leslie Nielsen in that. There's a few people in that. Ed Harris is in it, and friggin' Ted Danson. No shit.
It's a fun movie, but it's a very fun 80s romp. Yeah,
that sounds fun. I'd like to watch that. She's also Stevie Wayne in the movie The Fog, so she's played in all these, like, classic older horror movies.
That's a Carpenter, I see.
Yeah, that's true. She's also the voice of Arkham Asylum in the Batman Arkham games. You know, the female voice over the loudspeaker where it's like, inmates escaping or lockdown happening soon. She's also Central in Judge Dredd, the movie with Stallone. Like, Central again, she's that computer voice that's like, you have been sentenced to 3 years in blah, blah, blah. I am the law! And finally, another voice, she's the mainframe computer in Demolition Man, another Stallone movie.
That's a great one.
You have been fined 5 credits. You know, so she does all of that.
She doesn't know how to use the shells. The seashells.
And she's also appeared in episodes of American Horror Story, Dexter, Sons of Anarchy, and Star Trek. So lots of cool stuff. I don't know, it was one episode, so she's probably a very quick character.
Is she his wife's mother?
Oh, no, it's not her. No, I know who you're talking about. No. But she's been in loads of cool stuff, and she's still acting loads today in lots of TV shows. So I think she's great. She's a great Catwoman as well. I really like her voice as Catwoman. Kate Mulgrew, who plays Red Claw. Kate Mulgrew, ready for this? So she's Captain Catherine Janeway in Star Trek and Titania in Gargoyles, both ones that we don't know, but people probably do. But do you remember Orange is the New Black?
Yeah.
Do you know the Russian, like, head of the kitchen?
Red?
That's Red Claw.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? And you can hear it now. You hear Red Claw's voice. Yeah. You're like, oh my God, of course that's her. Isn't
I love
that cool?
Red. Red's a great character.
Red Claw? Same thing almost.
Crazy. That show did, like, the, the foot on the neck before like world events happen. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
like
right.
you would, if you were watching that in history, you'd be like, oh, they clearly are pulling from history there. No. And that's just how fucked up the world is that wasn't even pulling from that particular one.
Yeah, it was a good show, man. Really good show. Underrated, I think.
I don't think it was underrated. I think a lot of people liked it.
People have forgotten about it, I guess, and it's a shame because it was a really good show, and I could easily go back and watch that and probably be like, wow, I forgot how good this is, you know?
Last season kind of tiddled off a bit, but it was good.
Yeah, well, a lot of these last seasons usually do for shows that are really good. And finally, Mary McDonald-Lewis, who plays Maven, which is Selena Kyle's, like... What do you think she does, by the way? Does she work for Selena? Is she her roommate? Both?
She said this is my assistant when she introduced her to Bruce Wayne.
But she's always in Selena's apartment. Like, is she just taking care of her cats?
No, it's like, remember, like, in White Lotus Season 2, that girl that had to be constantly with that lady?
Oh, yeah, true.
That's what it is, personal assistant.
Because she comes back from doing her Catwoman stuff, and Maven's just like in her flat kicking it with all the cats.
They could be fucking, you know.
They could be, it could be.
Ain't out of character for Catwoman, that's for sure.
No, and even like Frank Miller had that, right? Like he had Catwoman as like a sex worker, and she took in like a young girl that was like beaten up.
Yeah, well, that's not what's happening here. But
no, I know, but I'm saying
it shows that her sexuality is probably not.
Yeah, she could be bi or she could be poly or whatever, yeah. So yeah, Mary McDonald-Lewis, Lady J in G.I. Joe Action Force. She's Ivan in the recent Pixar movie Lightyear and the dialect coach in the Twilight movies. That's the credits I could find for her. All right, moving on to my fun facts out of my utility belt. We don't have too much here, so only a few to go through. First one, in order to capitalize on the hype of Batman Returns, it was decided that this episode would be the first episode to air of Batman the Animated Series, despite being the 15th episode produced, because it featured Catwoman. This animated version of Selena Kyle even has blonde hair to resemble Michelle Pfeiffer. So that's the main reasons for that.
But there's
which
a great
makes sense.
The mise-en-scène and vibe of this episode is very good.
It is. I agree. Like, I could see why they're like, this could work as the first episode, even though
it feels very Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah. Although the two parts of The Cat and the Claw were produced as the 15th and 16th episodes, Part 1 was aired first on September 5th, 1992, but Part 2 was later aired on September 12th, 1992 as the 8th aired episode. So imagine like being back in the day watching episode 1 and be like, oh, wow, this show's great. Oh, my God, Catwoman, what's going to happen to her? And then the next episode, it's on leather wings. And you're like, wait, what?
So that guy was like, we found you now. I'll see you in a few months, maybe a couple of years, Selena.
Yeah, or he's there the entire time watching her.
Yeah. Like, no one's called me yet. I've been waiting there for months.
I heard about a giant bat in town, a crazy clown.
Yeah. I heard the DA lost half his face. Oh, my God. I'm missing so much. Do we even care about this lady anymore, boss?
Boss? He's dead. Sorry,
dead.
Shit. Oh, man. The misogyny in this, speaking when I just messed up shit. Holy crap.
My goodness. Batman is my wife was watching this in the background. She was like, Batman? Yuck. That's what she said. He was being so gross.
Gross.
He was like, oh, woman. He was like flirting with her constantly.
Dude, that line.
Yeah, he blew her a kiss goodbye. Like,
I know.
And that reminded me of, what's his name? Christoph Waltz in fucking Inglourious Bastards when the Jewish lady is running off and he's like, my shitty. Yeah, exactly.
That line, though, where he says, oh, no, Catburglar is a woman. And I was just like, Batman, why are you surprised, first of all? And second of all, like, what if he started saying that everywhere he went? Like, he went into his doctor's office and his doctor walks in and it's a woman. And he's like, my new doctor is a woman. And she's like,
clearly people are like, did you know that Bruce Wayne's kind of a piece of shit?
He goes to a restaurant and he's like, my new waitress is a woman. Yeah. It's like, waitress!
All his staff are men. He's got one old man there.
I don't see many women in Gotham these days.
He's got like a young man living with him now as well. Did you hear about that? His name is Dick? What?
Our new DA is a woman. Yes! The women work in all of these fields.
They exist as people. No, they don't.
Wayne Enterprises just hired a woman.
Wait a minute. My mother was a woman.
So Kevin Altieri called for an almost impossible bit of animation, a scene where the Red Claw is briefing her men with a slideshow and staged so she moves in front of the projected images during the briefing. Altieri said, in cartoons, if you want lines to bend over characters, it's not a trick, it's real animation that's got to be all hand-drawn, panel for panel. You shouldn't do it, he said. The chances of working on it are astronomical, but I went for it anyway, and they did it. They blew so many other simpler things, but this one they pulled off. And I agree, that sequence is amazing. It looks really good when she's telling them the plan and you see it projected on her. It looks great. Kevin Altieri said of the rooftop meeting between Batman and Catwoman, I use that as an example of how to board when hiring new people. It has all my tricks in it, lame animation, but the boards are good. And he's shown me these boards, and he's right, like that opening sequence. It's like Gotham, and then like
it's
women on...
beautiful.
It is. It's right. Like that opening sequence is great.
The whole dance through Gotham is very good.
Yeah, I really like that. That's probably my favorite bit of the episode. It's very Batman and Catwoman.
It reminds me of like Long Halloween immediately, of them dancing across the rooftops together.
Yes. And also, there was a bit that reminded me of Spider-Man, because they shoot Catwoman on the building. I know
exactly what you're talking about, which is crawling up.
Yeah, it's the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man poster.
Well, it's actually the cover for the 90s Spider-Man animated series video game.
Oh, of course it is.
Crawling up.
So very Spider-Man. I love that. And then, next bit of fun facts. Red Claw is a character created for the animated series. She only recently made her debut appearance in the comics in Catwoman number 43, which only came out last year in 2022.
Wow, I don't know. Someone must have used this character in the past, 30 years.
Not in comics. Isn't that crazy? Fun character.
Yeah.
I think she's cool.
I think she's kind of fit.
Well, I think Catwoman's kind of fit, so clearly this is like an Edward or a whatever his name is.
Two little fat Robson brothers just diddling their whittles in the corner.
Got that. No, leave it in.
Oi, 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 oi.
Catwoman, Red Claw, Catwoman, Red Claw. Oh, God. Scenes from the past of this episode were used in the game The Adventures of Batman and Robin on Level 4, Tale of the Cat. The music is also the same, which leads me into me asking you, what did you think of the music in this episode?
I thought it was very good, and it reminded me of old times.
Yeah, I agree. It was like, I am Catwoman, I do this, steal the jewels and jump the building. You could just put any kind of words in there. It's so much fun.
My cat goes and steals the jewels, put it on my shoulder after...
Yeah, and I love...
Also, why did she only take that cat? There's a very cute fat white puss that she has. And I was like, I could just see her coming back and that fat cat being like, can I come out next time, please? And she's like,
no, you stay here.
You're like when I come home for petting. No, I could break in and jump through all the laces. Absolutely fine.
Get stuck in the hole that she cuts.
And goes in instead of bringing back the jewels. It just brings back a fucking piece of chicken or something like that. Got the goods, Mom.
Let's get out of here before
Let's
they find
blow
out.
this joint.
I think that the name of that cat would be Cotton Bud or something. You know what I mean? Something.
Oh, Cotton Bud. Cute.
That's canon now, yeah?
I love Cotton Bud.
So, okay, the music's really good.
My wife wasn't watching at all, but she only walked over and she just pointed at the cat. She went, cute!
It's official. So, music is good. What did you think of the episode as a whole?
I enjoyed it. It's very noir feeling, very Batman the Animated Series feeling. Even though old Bruce was a fucking horn dog diggity-doo.
So
blushing and just that. I think that dude needed to have a wank basically because he had a lot of built-up stuff in him there. Everywhere he went, he was like, "I am horny."
And when Selena didn't want to go on the date first, he's like, "No, I am a man that upholds himself and his honor, and I insist that you go on a date with me." And I'm like, she said no, buddy. She paid you the money. It wasn't even that much. You know what I mean? Come on. In the grand scheme of things. $10,000.
It's a lot of money.
For Bruce Wayne, I love when he was getting bid on, and it was first of all, he's walking up there and all those women, all of the things they say are hilarious.
Everybody is horny in this episode.
I've been pinching my pennies for you. How like, what is that, euphemism? Nipples.
Oh, I got it.
Just at home, like, Bruce Wayne, later on, baby. I got $1,000 with your name on it.
Costs you a lot more than that.
But it's 1,000, and he's so chuffed with being bid on for $1,000. And I'm like, mate, you're a billionaire. You could save this whole fund with like a click of your fingers.
Yeah, that's true. Also, why did she give him the check?
Yeah, it should go to the foundation.
It's like, I'm fundraising for me. It's a bad economy for all of us. Batmobile needs new wheels. And Alfred needs a haircut. Like, I really use the money.
This body's for hire, baby.
Yeah, might as well start selling myself on the street, Alfred. I gotta make that money somehow. I can sell myself too, sir. I don't know if you're really gonna make a lot of money there, Alfred. You don't know that, sir. I could be bid on for $20,000. I'll be pinching my pennies for it, if you know what I'm saying. Oh dear.
I think that when Catwoman's stealing the jewels, as we said, like that's a really cool comic book scene. But I had a few questions that I wanted to ask you. First of all, that woman that owns it, why does she have this?
What, the lady fast asleep?
Fast asleep, yes, snoring away.
Yeah.
Why doesn't she just have a safe? Why does she have like intricate lasers?
She wants to see it. She wants to see her jewels.
Maybe, but she's asleep.
They're on display. I don't know why it's more like that was set up like a museum, but they're like, oh, we got to make someone own this.
Yeah, true. But why not just make it a museum and like have her steal some jewels from a museum?
Because then we don't have that great animation of a chunky lady in bed laying on her back storing away.
Which I'm bound to use on a TikTok one of these days.
Absolutely. Show them my wife and be like, look, it's you.
Keep that in.
That's right. She never listens to this.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So how does the cat see the lasers? Is that a thing?
No.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that. Right?
I also don't understand why it went from cat's eyes to human eyes.
That was weird. That was a weird transition.
Cats
I agree.
don't have human eyes. They have
and they also don't see lasers.
They don't see lasers.
So
cats don't know how to steal jewelry. Come on, guys.
No, I know. As you said, it would go for like a tin of cat food.
The chunky cat just walks through the lasers. Don't worry, I got it. It's me, Cotton Bud.
Where's the fridge?
Yeah, just threw the lasers straight to the fridge. Past the fat lady sleeping, he's like, she gets it. She just goes to sleep on her. She got it. A pineapple fight. Right that fridge.
The alarm's going off.
And they're just both asleep.
I found my soulmate.
Cat was like, Cotton Bud left us.
My love that Batman moment.
Love that.
Batman! It's when Catwoman thinks she's evaded Batman and even says, "So long, Dark Knight." And I love the way she delivers that line. And then Batman says, "Drop in anytime." And he's already on the rooftop and his music plays as you see him. I'm like, that's just the coolest thing. I love
There's
that.
a super over-animated shot of him at one point where it's like a zoom-in, a worm's eye view of his face. And he's just like a big beef boy. And it's like almost
up his nose.
Yeah, it's like more like realistic looking art. I'm like, oh, this looks weird in the show.
Yeah, it was a bit too, like, overdrawn, I agree. So, I have a really weird thing that I'm wondering if you noticed. Catwoman escapes Batman by kicking over a mountain of garbage cans.
Which you knew were going to fall because they were like that. You know, like in cartoons when they're like certain color where you're like, oh, those are clearly going to be animated. They're not a matte painting. They're just like a literal like animation cell. So, they're all stacked up on top of each other like a cup pyramid you'd make as a kid. And I'm like, who the fuck is doing that? What maniac is stacking up garbage cans like a pyramid in an alleyway? Like, what is that, a villain that Batman hasn't met yet? I am the trash man! It's Danny DeVito. I'm the trash man. He's got like one of those like pharaoh things on. I rebuild the pyramids out of trash. They say we gotta clean up Gotham, and I'm starting with the trash.
But the thing is that even if that was how they handle garbage in Gotham, because Gotham's a weird place, so I get it, but even if that is how they do it, who's going to throw away their rubbish at the top one? How pissed off would you be?
Oh, you just chuck the bag up there, and if it falls in someone else's, then whatever.
Oh, I guess so. But, like, I don't know, someone's just like, hey, that's recycling only, and you're like, fuck you, it's a pyramid of garbage.
Maybe the Gotham garbage people are on strike or something, and they're just like, well, start stacking it up, boys, because it ain't going anywhere else.
Well, it took Batman out, so it did its job.
Yeah, it's true. He did that. You know what? Watching it, I didn't think twice about a stack of garbage bins, and now that I think about it, what the fuck?
Yeah, right? It's so ridiculous.
It makes no sense.
Why is that a thing?
I've never seen that in real life.
Nope, ever. Never.
Bags stacked up, yes, but garbage bins stacked up.
Someone had to do that, probably with a machine.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Like, that was
if they're full of garbage, then yes.
Yeah, that was a plan. That was a planned out pyramid of garbage. So after Batman gets trashed by his pyramid, he lets Catwoman go for no reason. She's on top of the roof. He saves Isis.
He lets her go for a very distinct reason, because he's a fucking horn dog and he wants this little flirtation thing to continue.
Yeah, because he whistles and he's like, until next time, or something like that. And I'm like,
oh, the whistle is...
She's right there, buddy.
The whistle is what made my wife say, Batman, yuck.
Like, he could just grapple up there. You know what I mean? Like, he could grab her. But, as you said, he wants to keep the game alive.
That's kind of gross.
So, after Bruce has been bid on by Selina and he's meeting her for the first time, did you notice the crowd of people around them are like, they're blue, because they're supposed to be like in this blue hue where it's creating the scene, but you're not supposed to really notice them. But because I watched this in HD, I really noticed they look like they've been frozen by Mr. Freeze, because the shots are held for so long and they're all like in a pose. And I'm like, did someone stop time or something? Like, what's happening around them? They all look like dead corpses.
What do you expect? They already animated a lady having a projector over her body, okay?
That's
the image wrapping around it. What, you expect them to animate a full crowd scene?
Yeah,
take off.
I guess that's a good point. So then Batman goes to that great chase sequence. What did you think of that, by the way, with like the guys with the Tommy gun in the back of the car, and then
I was like, no, stop it! Like, might as well fucking wait for Batman, because they have a Gatling gun in a truck that is full of guns. Like, they're just gonna keep shooting like nonstop.
That's true. Like, did they steal guns and then they're using the guns that they stole?
Yeah.
Because it said U.S. Army. Yeah, I guess so. But I just love that. They're like, we're going to steal guns, and then, oh no, we got to use them.
I also love
not the best plan.
I also love that the U.S. Army, like, their standard gun is a Tommy gun with a round freaking magazine instead of the standard long one. Yeah. Like, we're all gangsters now in the, Gotham military. Yeah.
That's true. I did notice that as well. Also, speaking of Gotham police and such, this is the first time we see Gordon talking with Batman in an alleyway, if I can remember correctly. He goes over to an alley and we get their little kind of comic book exchange.
Is this the first time that they talk?
I think it is, from the episodes that we watched. I think this is the first time we've seen Gordon and Batman have a chat.
Yeah, it is.
Right, because we haven't seen Batman in his office yet.
You know what I thought? Who probably would have been, I think, the best casted Commissioner Gordon of all time the other day.
Who?
How I told you recently I've been watching Magnum P.I. Could you imagine Tom Selleck as Commissioner Gordon with that tash?
This is who I wanted to cast when we were doing live action, but you said he was too old, which he is.
Yeah, because he's like a 90-year-old man now.
But back in the day, he would have been an amazing Gordon.
Oh my God! If he was in the 90s movie as Commissioner Gordon, could you imagine that?
Yeah, he would have been excellent. They would have had to make that character better than it was to make Tom Selleck shine, because the Gordon in the Keaton and Kilmer, Clooney, he's just there as this idiot cop,
fat old conservative man. It's so weird.
Yeah,
he looks corrupt.
He does look corrupt. He does.
Join the gambling with the DA shit. I'm this Gotham is fucked.
Yeah, he's definitely on the take. I really enjoyed the line where Selina says, I wish Batman was standing behind this door, and then it slowly reveals Bruce, but it's
you knew who was going to be there.
I know, but it's good stuff. It's comic book stuff. I like that. has like some Spider-Man vibes to this episode, I thought, like especially the car chase gun sequence. And
I think you think it's Spider-Man vibes because it's the play on secret identities, which is used a lot in Spider-Man.
You're right. That is exactly what it is. Good shout. Bruce really does look like a giant rectangle in this show, especially in this episode. He is a block.
He bought a suit from John Cena in this episode because he's walking around like a gorilla man. Like, it's ridiculous. He looks like a chocolate bar.
Yeah, or like Kingpin from that Spider-Verse movie. Yeah. He's just a giant block.
He looks like fucking someone went to the shops and bought Cadbury's Dairy Milk and put it in a brown suit. Like, he's just a big rectangle.
He also, like, he's the same shape as the door that he walks through. He just comes through as the door.
As he comes through. He's like those children's things where they match up the squares and the circles.
He must have felt pretty cool, though, when he just picks up the phone and goes, like, what time's good for you when he got Selena at that meeting?
Pull a move, man. Yeah. Even I was like, it's pretty sly.
Absolutely. So I have a cool theory, which I reached out to Kevin Altieri to see if it was true, and he hasn't gotten back to me yet. But you know I'm a big James Bond nut, and our listeners probably know that now. I noticed a few nods to Moonraker in this episode. First of all, the "our new cat burglar's a woman" is very much like a woman. And then in that movie, to get into the secret compartments that the bad guy has, he has a little jingle that he has to play in order to open it. And that was the same thing in this episode. And I thought that was very Bond with like all the trap doors, you know, coming out and like, you know, all of the build up, like, here's my plan and a little set that I'm going to show you. Like Goldfinger did that shit, you know. I thought it was very Bond, particularly Moonraker, I thought. So,
well, maybe a nice ode to it. Maybe he's a big fan.
Yeah. The reveal of Red Claw was funny because she comes out of a shadow and the music is like, dun, 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 it's another woman. And then they cut to her arm and they're like, dun, 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 she's got a tattoo. You're like, ooh, I'm scared.
My wife was like, damn, she's thick.
Yeah, she's definitely like, she's lifting. So what did you think of the mobsters meeting and Batman breaking it up? Like that whole meeting, they had like really cool style to them. Like the Scarface one.
Dick Tracy though, like a bit.
Yes,
like every gangster in this is a bit like, yeah, I got a funny face.
Yeah, I got big teeth. You're right.
Yeah,
it's
I got
very Dick Tracy.
Big brown man.
And Batman's entrance was ridiculous because he throws this anchor-sized harpoon. God. And he just like spins around the rope 6 times and they're all watching and I'm like, how are you not dizzy and throwing up after doing that?
Comes down like a tetherball. Like, what is going on there? Like, you could just slide down the rope, but he decides to do 360 spins down there.
Do you imagine like in Tony Hawk, you know, when you do tricks, it's like bam, bam, it's like giving him
the
points.
900, bam, bam.
I thought that'd be funny.
Offspring's playing in the background.
But also, like, all of the gangsters could have just shot him whilst he was doing it because it took him ages to get
Maybe
down.
not. He could have been dodging those bullets. Spinning all around
Moving target. And then he holds up this mob boss above the ground and there's a shot of his legs swaying back and forth for way too long. Did you notice this?
It's just they didn't want to animate this mouth moving.
He's not wearing any socks. I was like,
yes,
ew.
I noticed that too. No socks.
So is that his stick? Like, one's got big teeth and the other one's got no socks?
It's Sammy No Socks over here.
You can smell him coming a mile away. Batman's just like, I need information. You better hurry up because you stink.
Jesus, are you not wearing socks? Why aren't you wearing socks? I got a medical condition. I gotta put an ointment on it's gotta breathe. Oh. I'm gonna interview you. Who's your right hand man?
It's Tommy Skidmark over there.
Skidmark. You know what, guys? I'll find a different mom to get the information from.
Good night.
No socks, Skidmark. That's enough for me. Have a good night.
I'll have the Wayne Foundation send you all new showers and baths.
And socks and pants.
Alfred's like, oh, a job for me. Knitting.
Hey, hang on, Bev. I never met Birthday Suit Bob yet. I don't think I want to meet Birthday Suit Bob. I can get the picture.
Good night. One of Red Claw's henchmen was very stylish. Did you notice this dude? He had blue sunglasses on. He had a brown leather jacket, cool hat. And I'm like, this guy's got a vibe. Like, I really dug...
Skidmark. He's making up for having a poopy butt all the time.
But he's the one at the end that's watching Selena, but he doesn't have his cool sunglasses on. But he's the one in the car chase sequence driving the car. He's in loads of scenes, and I'm like, this dude looks good. I was like, that blue sunglasses, that was a real risk, but he pulls it off. Like, I thought they looked good.
I didn't notice it while I was watching a cartoon, so.
Well, did you like Catwoman's custom little spikes that she has, that she threw out in the vents? Who made those for her?
Somebody
That's some intricate metalwork. Probably Maven. That's one of her jobs.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, I'm going to bed. You can spend the next 3 weeks making extremely sharp little cats.
Get your welding mask on. She's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Batman totally gets a real good snog in with Catwoman before pushing her away. I'm like, dude, he makes out with her and then he's like, no, and pushes her away. I'm like, you've already gone too far, buddy. And then Batman does the most invasive thing I've ever seen him do in this episode. He just smiles and he grabs Catwoman's mask and just tries to take it off without her permission or anything. No lead-up convo, nothing. He's just like, all right, I'm going to see who you are. And she's like, whoa, buddy, what are you... Exactly. Her face is like, what are you doing?
Out of all people, you should know that that's a fucked up thing to do.
So messed up. And then he looks grumpy that she said no. He's like, I don't get what I want.
Like, I need to know if I find you fit before we fuck. And she's like, who said we're going to fuck?
Are we not
going to fuck? We've been flirting. You kissed me.
Alfred totally said you were giving me all the signals. We had a chat in our little bath time moment last night.
You took advice from a guy that's been living with a younger man for the past 30 years on women.
Whoopsie.
So are we gonna? Should we fuck? No. I'm Bruce Wayne.
It's not my utility belt that's giving me that bulge.
My Batarang. My Batmobile. Batarang! Oh, no! Oh, my God. Bat-o-wang. I'm sure that must have been done. I've never heard that before, but Bat-o-wang.
Oh, it's so funny.
It's not a speech impediment, baby. It's a Bat-o-wang. It's not a battered wang. It's not my dick covered in breadcrumbs. But I can do that.
Could be.
Apple makes a really good.
Oh, God.
One mozzarella stick coming up. The
secret
bigger than that, Alfred.
The secret is in the breadcrumbs.
That's right.
I had a bit of garlic powder.
I'm allergic to garlic. Oh, no.
Oh, but yeah, he totally law zones Catwoman as well when she says you can't deny there's something between us. He's like, you're right, and I'm afraid it's the law. And I'm just like, oh.
And Alfred's prepared breadcrumbs on my little mozzarella stick.
Oh,
you're gonna be the marinara dip. Jesus, Batman! What? I'm in season.
Oh, God.
He's so horny in this one. It's crazy.
He's really horny in this one. Yeah, he is. No pun intended. He's ready to go at a moment's notice. As both Batman and Bruce Wayne. He hasn't been laid in a really long time, and it shows. He's just desperate. He's just like, any innuendo you want to throw out there, I'll cling on to that and I'll pretend like it's real.
Your endo.
Oh, God, with my Batarang.
I think we need a wankster.
Alfred, do the stranger.
Wait, I said to my hand and jerk you off? How does that work?
Well, you don't know you're doing it.
I'll know I'm doing it. And so will you.
Just a hand through a curtain. It's clearly Alfred's.
It's clearly Alfred's hand.
Oh, God, it's old and wrinkly and like leather.
In for a penny's worth, in for a pound.
Oh, man. So,
look, even we're talking about weird shit because of this fucking episode.
That's true. It's really getting to our heads. Well, let's wrap it up. This episode ends with the stylish thug not wearing his blue sunglasses, watching Selena in her apartment with his binoculars and says a vague threat out loud. And that is the end of the episode. And we are watching The Cat in the Claw Part 2 next. But if this was us watching this in release order, we wouldn't be watching this for another 7 or 8 episodes, which is just so weird.
We'll still be on the rooftop with that one guy, like those Japanese soldiers that didn't know World War II ended for like 26 years, and we're like, are we still after Selena? Like, what are we doing? It's like, mate, that was in the 90s. It's 2023. What?